My name is David Cockburn, and I'm Head of Manufacturing and Quality Compliance here at the European Medicines Agency. I'm actually standing in for my boss, Fergus Sweeney, who was intending to be here today, but unfortunately has been called away to the European Parliament, I believe. I will co-chair today's meeting, and on my right is Gerald Heddell from the Medicines Healthcare Regulatory, the MHRA. And he will say a little bit more about himself, as he will actually co-chair the meeting as well, but we decided to split our responsibilities to the morning and the afternoon, and Gerald will look after this morning's session. So, the idea of this workshop, it arises from a reflection paper which was published by the European Medicines Agency last year, and the reflection paper dealt with shortages caused by manufacturing and GMP compliance problems. And that particular focus is reflected in the title of today's workshop. Now, we do fully understand that shortages are caused by many reasons. There are many varied and complex causes of shortages. But today's workshop will only deal with manufacturing and quality compliance causes. There is no intention to discuss the other causes today, although I'm pretty sure someone will mention them. But we will not be indulging in a discussion on those. So please bear that in mind. And the reason for that is not because we want to avoid the issue, but the European Medicines Agency doesn't have a role in pricing, for instance, and the consequences of differential pricing across the European Union. And neither do many of the members of the regulatory network with which the European Medicines Agency works. So we're trying to stay within our remit. There are, I guess, some key themes for today: causes and prevention of shortages, bearing in mind the caveat I just made, assessment of those shortages, and communication. So, the structure for today, in the morning, we're really looking at defining the problem and having different stakeholder perspectives. And in the afternoon, we will be focusing more on addressing the problem, and in particular, how the industry can contribute to addressing those problems. So you will learn what the regulators have done so far, and this workshop really is intended to find out what else needs to be done, and in particular, what the industry itself can do. Now, the outcome of the workshop, possibly, will be a concept paper to tackle what remains to be done, and in particular, what the industry can do. And the concept paper then would be the forebear of perhaps further guidance. So, on that note, I'd like to hand over to Gerald now to look after the first session.
Thank you, David, and good morning to you all. For those that don't know me, my name is Gerald Heddell. I'm the Director of Inspection, Enforcement and Standards at what is the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, David, the MHRA. And it's delightful to see so many delegates at this event. As David has said, we'll be looking at some underlying causes of shortages and ways in which their impact can be mitigated for patients. And so it's really key that we have such a broad representation here today. There are representatives of patient organisations, representatives of healthcare professionals, industry, pharmacy, and regulators from at least 14 of the European member states. So we've allowed in the programme for today a considerable amount of time for debate. This seeks to recognise the fact that the expertise is not confined to those who are presenting to us, but rests with other delegates in this meeting. So I would encourage you to consider what contribution you can make, constructive contribution you can make to this debate on this key issue of shortages. The perception, I think, is that this issue is getting worse. whether that perception is true or not, it remains a major concern for all of us that medicines are available to patients as they're needed. So with those few words, I want to introduce our first speaker, who I think is known to many of you. Brendan Cuddy has been with the EMA since 2002. He's responsible for GMP inspections, for defective medicines reporting, for compliance. But in the context of this meeting, he has a particular role in that he has chaired the working group who have been looking at the implementation of actions from the reflection paper that David referred to. So Brendan is now going to introduce that reflection paper, and then later in the meeting it will be taken forward further. So thank you, Brendan.